Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my another session of webinar on JBoss Fields service work with regarding to Switchyard application development. In this session, I'm going to show you how to do the file binding with Camel route in two flavors. One is in JavaDSL, the other is in XML. So basically, there are two components. We're trying to. It's very simple. I'm not going to go to the detail about Camel route, and that I believe there's a lot of books and material you can learn from it. But with regard to the Switchyard design, many newcomers feel challenged how to design this flow. So I'm going to show you with this kind of flow, the use case is like somebody drop the file in certain location. The Camel route will pick up this is the first route, will pick up the file and then do certain process, then send to another route. So I'm using this opportunity to show you how to implement the route in this way. There is no particular logic. You can using splitter, file-based, content-based routing, etc. But that's beyond the scope of this session. I might cover it in the later on sessions, but I want to show you how to develop a Camel route in a simple way. So if you haven't watched my previous tutorials, you are welcome to watch that. That give you the base how to run, how to set up runtime, how to using the Switchyard GUI stuff. Given that this is the one I'm going to show you. So I already create this project. The source code is in the GitHub already. So this is the source code. So you're welcome to take a look, and I'm going to put on the blog as well. So just in case if we need the explanation in detail, I believe if you watch this, you should be able to follow the design. All right. Given that, I'm going to do it from scratch as always, so you can learn it. Let's do it. Say simply create a new project. Create a new Switchyard project. I'm going to name it as file Camel demo. All right. Nothing to do here. I'm going to change it to GGL here. So GGL. Yeah. So I have to use version 1.1 because there's only support from the current runtime. In here, I need to use Camel route. I need to use the file. I'm not going to. This is a direct file. If I use FTP, SFTP, etc., we have to change that. For now, we don't need that. So that you see file Camel, and that's it. So we can. It should take no time to finish this. So let's see. Okay, so it's done, and it's here. So oh, okay. By default, I want to show you something here. See that? By default, it do 1.6. So I think we need to change that. It's not a big deal. It will work, but as always, I won't do this. So that's that done. When you change the POM, always you know, go to Maven to update project. So do OK. And building it. Okay, it's done. So now we'll create a project which has nothing really useful yet. So first we'll create a Camel JavaDSL implementation of this component, right? So nothing changed here, and we need a interface. Let's say name it as file retrieval service. This is our first route. All right. So Camel, yeah, we can take the default Camel service. If you want, you can change here the name maybe. Let's see, file retrieval implementation. This is a little bit different from what I check in, but it's no big deal. You can change it if you like. It's just a file name. You see that? So now we create. If you look, double click here. This is the default. We really do not need to do anything at all. Say maybe we can add something here. Log. Oh. Oh, another thing is if you are not very familiar with this, that's okay. It's so we just need to add another log. Say we would say inside file retrieval service. It's always a good idea to do something like that, so you know where you are. It's okay. So that is the implementation in JavaDSL from. We will add something too later on, so we can save it. So now we create JavaDSL Camel, simple Camel, and now we need to promote service as always. So that be fine. This be okay. So we promote it, and here the service. We'll need something like public void accept message string file content maybe here. You can really, this is a simple method to get the message. So we define the interface. Now we can do binding, right? You can do binding from here. See that binding? See file, right? Another way you can just See that from here you can, I showed you earlier before that. So this will be, let's say, we name as file Camel binding. The directory here, so I have, let's see, if you look here, I have an input. I want to use this. cd input. So I'm going to hard code this. Later on, you can use the properties. File name is any name. Operation you don't have. You say if you select operation, you say this, right? But it will automatically do this. So that with that we do not have. Yeah, nothing have been here. That's okay. So now we basically create a route. What this doing is that we pick up a file from the location. It is inside here, right? If you look, there's nothing there now. So we'll pick up a file from a file system and route it to here. This route do nothing, just log the message, right? So do now that we can save it. I think now we can try to run it. Let me remove this just for the clarity. Are you sure you want to remove? I'm sorry, yes. So now we can add it. So add and remove. See, that'll be this one, right? So add. Just in case if you want to say that here, right? And to finish. So we add this. If you look here, so here is the one, right? Sorry. Okay. Now we can start the save. Yes, of course. As always, when you start server in your local development environment, you should always watch the standard output. Make sure there's no exceptions, and you can always do a search. Do Control F, search and search certain interest element. For example, I have the retrieval here, right? So I can do Control F, retrieval, for example. You can see that this is the endpoint here. You see that this is like a Camel, real like Camel endpoint, and so file retrieval. We know that it is. Remember, always when you see, oh, that's okay. When you see those information, the port, and then there is certain information in, you should, in this moment, like started as run, that moment is good. So so service delivered. Let's go back here. So this one. So we're good, and we can do that. Let's see. Now we can drop a text message. So I have created a simple text message, right? Let's see. This is very simple. We can create that, like in case. Maybe we can say begin. All right. So now we have a file. Remember, when I want to drop it here, right? So let's say let me do this way so you can see the action. So you can see the reaction here, right? So I'm going to let me see. Okay, so we're going to copy the file to input. Okay. Oh, you see that? Here is the login. The first login, we say okay, and then they say receive message for file retrieval service, right? And the begin. This is the content, right? Begin end. All right. So so the first Camel route is working. We pick up from file and then to here. There is quite some. I haven't touched base here. There's a lot of component here you can do. For example, you cannot modify this way because this is design. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too. So there's options. You can say delete, or when the file drop there, delay for a certain time. Those you can define here. I'm not going to show that for now. All right. So as promised, I'm going to. So this is working now. So I'm going to create another component implementation using Java, using XML. So in the real situation, you might do something like, for example, in draw rules. You can do that too. For now, in this, I'm going to demo another very interesting implementation. So I'm going to create XML. So this is a little bit tricky. When you create an XML implementation, it's better to use ESB instead of Java. So let's call it XML services. So we define one. So input type is the Java, okay, and it's in the package Java language, right? String. So if you don't do anything here, it will be void. Fault, we don't care for now, right? You see what by default it's create return void and called ESB operation, and that's the input. All right. So we can finish now. Let's see what happened. So now we create a route basically in XML. If you look here, this is in the design mode. It's pretty good, I think. It's not as nice as MuleSoft GUI yet, but it's good enough. And here see, this is XML. If you know Camel, say from, this is the endpoint, and then we can do something here. We can do log, right? Message equal to something, and then we can. Oh, okay. So that's good. You can do this way, and you can do that way as well. See, I also message here. Say inside XML service now. In order to distinguish the other one I do the single now to save it. So we create a simple route now, and as you can see, this is dynamic how deployment. When you change something, the server will take it. So let's go back here. So now basically we create route here. Interesting. Anyway, so it's just the name by default is called route, but you can always change here, right? So if you look that we create a component, this is a file retrieval component, right? And we create a service. Oh, sorry. So I haven't saved it. Control S here. So now you will see we should see two components, right? Basically, if you look here, the two component, there is called tool implementation, and this is translated to here, component, right? And we have another component here. See that? This is the name route. You can change it the way you want. And this is XML. You can change it as well. Remember that we defined the interface here. It's go here, right? So now we need to link them together. So create here. There is two ways. One way I did is I create a new implementation, new component here, and then we link it. And you can also from here, you see that create a component reference. You can click here, and you can so you can search it. So let's see. XML, and you can do interface, specify interface, and if you do that, java.language, right? So string, do OK. You see it found this operation, right? And then if I do remember here, see what happened, right? So there's no link, right? Now if I do finish, see, it found it. It automatically link it, right? However, even if it link it, let's see, do I save it? There is really nothing happened yet. So you see the component file retrieval, the file retrieval sitting here, it reference here, it create a reference here, right? So in order to, let's see, if I run it, it won't take this because I have not tell how to route this yet. Even it just create a reference for now. This is important because we should create reference before you route to it. You know, to see my point, I'm going to demo to you. It's also a good idea to run the test when you create something. So if I drop it, right? As you can see that we only see this, right? When you see this, you might say, "Oh, I'm automatically route to here." That's not true. So we need to do something here. Remember, here is from, right? So we need to create a two component, from and to an endpoint, right? So the endpoint, I'm not going to copy. Let me copy and paste here. Just make it my easier, so I won't have to come out here. So this is the one, the Switchyard XML service with operation. All right. Let's close this. Control that. So what I did is I add a two XML service here. Let's go back here. So see that this is XML service. So now I create a reference. I create a route, right? From this, the file service, I'm going to route to another account. Of course, you can you can route to another file, for example, to ActMQ. I think I'm going to create another webinar to show you how to route to ActMQ, retrieve the message from the queue, or to file based on the content. That's more a little bit advanced topic I will cover later on. But this one is I'm just show you how to create Camel route. And so let's do that, see what happened. Oh, all right. So let me show you this. So what happened is that you see that. Let me see if I can zoom it a little bit so you can see that. So that inside the file service here, inside XML service here, right? All right. So we create a route. We pick up a file. We do certain JavaDSL process. If you look here, review here, we didn't do much. You can do significant amount of work here. This is a component. Remember, in the Camel DSL, you have translator, a transformer. We touched a little bit in my previous tutorial about how do you transform the payload to the SOAP. And this you can also do certain translation. Fortunately, it's easier because all the string we do not need to translate. And those are the component. So you learn something about endpoint. You know how you reference endpoint from to here, right? This is called endpoint. This is in string format, and this is another endpoint from to, right? And so let me show you one more time. So what happened? So this is printer, just another. See that this I see that printer payload, right? And so I'm going to show you one more time, so just you see what happened. So I copied that. See that? So it printed twice because first in here, the second here. And if you look at that, if I do a list input, nothing there. What by default it will remove delete the content after it's handled the file. Yeah, basically that is. So we create two components. One is JavaDSL, the other one is XMLDSL using file. In this session, I think I can conclude the session. Basically, I have demonstrated how to create, implement the different component, right? Two components in different flavors. So there is a lot of material we can cover. So next one, I will probably cover some, after you do some content-based routing, which is very interesting enterprise integration pattern. And then we'll cover the rule using joules. All right, thank you very much for attending this webinar, and please comment on my YouTube session. Also, I'm going to put this content in my blogger, so you can also ask questions or comments on that as well. Hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully you can learn it. You can further develop. All right, thank you very much, and see you in next session.